Yo, what's up? It's your boy Marcel P. Black checking in. This is episode seven. Seven. We banged out 5 episodes last week. We took a break for the weekend, and now we back. You know what I'm saying? This particular Tuesday. This Tuesday is important because it's a legit week until the album drops. You know what I'm saying? So if you're watching this on September the 7th, as you're supposed to be, you know what I'm saying? That means the album will be live on Bandcamp, you know what I'm saying, for you to scoop, you know what I'm saying, a week from today. You know what I mean? But we'll talk more about that later. Today, you know what I'm saying, this is really special here. You know what I'm saying? Today, this person that we have conducting the interview is none other than Mr. Alfred Banks. I'm really happy because he he's not even in Louisiana right now. He's evacuating. So I'm really appreciative that he took out some time, you know what I'm saying, to interview me on this song that he's on. If you know Marcel P. Black, then you're pretty much familiar with Mr. Alfred Banks. But I'm gonna let him introduce himself and then take over from there.
Indeed. Alfred Banks, New Orleans, Louisiana, rapper guy. Man, I'm done a couple things, but really just very proud of Marcel. You know what I'm saying, for what he's been through in the past couple of years to still press on and do, create timeless art and create really dope content. Well, I know you hate that word, but create really
art and
dope
culture.
Create really incredible timeless pieces of art and culture through all of the stresses that these past 2 years have created for everyone, including himself, and personal things as well. So, I'm just here to just help kind of further that in any way that I can. You know what I mean?
100%. So this is what we're going to be discussing is the actual interlude on the album that he's actually on. You know what I'm saying? When people saw the track listing, they saw featuring Alfred Banks. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people probably thought he was going to be rapping, but and we could have done that. You know what I'm saying? But just wanted to try something different. So this is the Check on Your Strong Friends interlude produced by Jay Philly with the interview with Alfred Banks. The floor is yours, sir.
Indeed. So after listening to it, we did it, but actually listening to it, after actually listening to it, the intensity of it is I don't know, it's very genuine, you know what I'm saying? So first off, I want to tell you, thank you for letting me be a part of something that personal, because you know me, you know how I get down emotionally. So I could have kicked a verse about this or whatever, but I feel like what we did on that interlude is really it's genuine, and it's actual conversation that me and you would have anyway, right? So actually before getting into therapy, right? What were your thoughts about it? What were your thoughts on, things to help with mental health, therapy, and things of that nature?
Well, I was with it. I was a mental health counselor for 3.5 years. You know what I'm saying? And so I was with it. I'm a definitely a firm advocate of mental health. And if you're watching this podcast or if you follow me on my social media, I talk about it a lot. And just to be completely honest, I saw how much it helped you. You know what I'm saying? And so I was with it, but you already know, man, when you first in that grief, you might even know what's good for you, but you don't feel like nothing will help you. So I was definitely an advocate of therapy, and I knew I needed therapy, but man, I was just so low at a certain point. It's kind of like, what might help you, but even though even though you might have the answers, the world is such a shambles, you're afraid to try and fail because you can't take another loss.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Also, I can imagine that when you're that low, man, trust me, I know, but when you're that drained emotionally, just you reaching out for help can be the hardest thing on the planet. You know what I mean?
And you know me, and that's the reason why I titled this "Check on Your Strong Friends," right? Because I'm always a strong friend. I'm always the person who takes care of everybody else. I'm always as a mental health counselor, I've heard thousands of stories or whatever, just in my line of work. So I'm always the person who, you know what I'm saying. I'm the strong friend. And another thing that me and my wife talked about, right, just recently, is just like as it pertains to like reaching out. So me being the only child, I've always lived my life not trying to be the stereotypical only child, the only child that wants it his way or their way or cries and complains and tantrum, right? So I always try to be the opposite of that. I've always tried to be a helper, a healer, a supporter, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like if I've had a fist fight, 9 times out of 10, it's because I was protecting somebody else, right? And so for me, I don't want to be a burden on nobody. I always take the burden, but I don't want to be a burden on nobody. And so that's why it's so hard for me to ask for help. You know what I'm saying? And so that's another thing that was going on in the back of my mind. Is just like, man, you know, you know, I gotta be strong for my mom. I gotta be strong for my children. I gotta be strong for my wife and other people who's real close to my pops and in my family who is affected. You know what I'm saying? So there definitely was a hesitation. Like my pops passed in March, and I don't think I had my first therapy session until like September 15th. And a lot of that was because of you.
Well, I think, and I go mute as you talk to make sure
Yeah, yeah, 100%, 100%.
I'm not back on. So I think, do you think one of the reasons why that therapy, no, do you think one of the reasons why you don't want to be a burden on people, does that come from maybe your upbringing or having your father as an example of that, or does it have something to do with
No,
ego?
no, what, no, no, um, my pops definitely, like nobody, like my pops definitely wasn't a, he wasn't a, he never went to therapy. He was, but he wasn't like a super duper proud man. You know what I'm saying? I remember like 2013, 14, we had like a family church, and our family got kicked out the church, and it was a whole bunch of mess, and that really like hurt my pops. And then he got set up on some BS and got fired from his job, and so he was out of work. You know what I'm saying, for about a year, and like he was really, really, really depressed. And I was in Louisiana, right? But I don't think I knew to the extent of how depressed he was. You know what I'm saying? Until like later, and like hearing my mom tell me about it, because no parents ever want to burden their children or whatever. But I don't know if therapy or anything like that. I don't know if he was ever considered it. It was never nothing. It was never nothing that I had a discussion with him about. So I don't really know. But it's not like there never was a point to he was just like, oh, that's for white people. Now, my mom was a little bit more resistant to it, you know, because they real deep into the church and the Bible and things like that. She's a little bit more resistant, and that's still a struggle that we have. You know what I'm saying? Like trying to convince her. She's been to grief share, but she hasn't been to therapy, whatever. But it never like I was never told not to do it. I was never told that it was a bad thing. I was, it was. I wasn't in an anti-therapy household. If that's your question, you know what I'm saying. So and
If
so
it
that
wasn't,
that that didn't necessarily deter me. You know what I'm saying?
so
Sometimes
if it wasn't that upbringing situation, was it maybe ego?
no, because I knew it worked because I was a counselor. You know what I'm saying? But it's just like, and I honestly, Alfred, man, bro, the first 6 months after death, you in a daze, bro. Like I don't even remember like we spent from the day my pops died, we spent a month in Ardmore at my mama's house, and I don't remember. All I remember is just staying up late and and sleeping late. And once a day, I would leave the house to go get some fast food. Cause like my pops passed right before everything shut down with the pandemic. You know what I'm saying? So we in Oklahoma really wasn't following the rules like that or whatever. But once a day, I would get up probably about 4 or 5 o'clock, and I go get some fast food. That's all I really remember. When I got back to Louisiana, um, right before the day before I left, I bought an Xbox One. The day before I left for my pops pass. So when I got back, I started playing Xbox again and listening to podcasts and playing 2K. But that's all I really remember. I don't remember what the days or nights was like. Remember, I wasn't really sleeping. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, I think it was just really, it was just trying so hard to find the strength to even get up out of bed, let alone, you know what I'm saying? Just trying to figure everything out, trying to just make sense of what happened, and it still don't make sense. You know what I'm saying? But
The
so
hating
yeah,
part is really real.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like that first part, like remember I wasn't sleeping and none of that. Like, you know what I mean? Like when I did sleep, I had to take 2 Tylenol PMs and a melatonin gummy. And then so I would actually sleep for 8 hours, but when I woke up, I felt like I was drugged. You know what I'm saying? And so I had to just kind of do stuff till I got off of that or whatever. But yeah, so like I said, I can't, like I said, it wasn't ego, it wasn't pride, it wasn't none of that. It was just maybe it was a fear of trying something and it failing again, or I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
I understand, man. It could be very just confusing because you don't even know how to
Right.
process what you're feeling. You dig? So like,
Exactly.
I totally
Exactly.
get it.
Exactly.
So for my next question, man, one thing in the skit you say is people hitting you up for opportunities and shows and this and that, and they're not even asking what's going on with you. They're not being respectful of your time, completely being dismissive of what you're going through. So do you regret building such a plethora of platforms for people, being that people are so dismissive to how you felt and what you were going through at the time? So at any point in this process of grieving, losing your father, and all the things you've had to go through in the past 2 years, do you regret how much energy that you put into creating these platforms for these guys and gals?
I don't regret it, but maybe I would do some things differently because that's who I am. Like I am this, bro. I'm a natural helper. If I see a place where I can help somebody, you know what I'm saying? Like I knew I could help. Like my wife can tell you, like one of the hardest parts about like even before my pops passed away, like I was a mental health counselor, and then I left that job and I was doing music full time, right? So one of the hardest parts during that time before my pops passed, but before the pandemic was like my whole life has been working with young people, helping young people, and so like that's who I am. You know what I'm saying? Like and this is to be completely honest, like um our relationship might be different if you was the same age as me. You was a teenager when we met. I was almost 30. You know what I'm saying? So even though our careers is kind of parallel in many ways, it's like we definitely have a big brother little brother relationship. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like you was a person who like even though with the rap stuff, sometimes you have a car. You didn't have a car for a long time. Or you know what I'm saying? Or whatever. Like we was in Denver, we was both broke. I like, you know what, I'm gonna get the pizzas for us. You know what I'm saying? So I think so for me, and honestly, I think my mom and my dad were the same way. It's just like so for me, I feel better about myself when I'm able to help somebody. You know what I'm saying? So when I wasn't able to help somebody, I was feeling bad about myself. You know what I'm saying? So I also think that like I see ways that I painted myself in the corner that I'm not going to do again, even though I'm in a new city, like, and I'm older, but I'm not going to do again. But at the same time, I did everything with such a pure heart and a pure soul that I was blessed because of it. So I'm frustrated by a lot of the ways that it came out or whatever. But everything I did was for the culture. It was for the love of hip hop. I never took nobody money. I never messed over nobody. I overgave because I'm a person. I just love real hard. You know that I love real hard. You know what I'm saying? And that could be dangerous. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes I love real hard, and I'm not a person who tries to hide my vulnerabilities or whatever. So sometimes I put
That could
myself out there a little bit
backfire.
too much. You know what I'm saying? I put myself out there a little bit too much or whatever. And it definitely did backfire on me. So it's just like and I'm not saying that I would just be more cautious with my time and my energy. I would be more cautious with what I put out there. I would be more discerning with some of the people I dealt with. But like, I mean, it really hit me. And like literally pertaining to because I said at the end of the song before or whatever, but it definitely was people, because the last Fade to Flow was like 3 days, 3 or 4 days before my pops passed away, and that was the all women show. Then then the pandemic hit, but people was niggas wasn't doing right, and because Fade to Flow wasn't at a venue, technically we could have done it. You know what I'm saying? Because it was at like a non-conventional space. So it was people who, I pretty much canceled everything. You know what I'm saying? But people who was booked for future Fade to Flows that got canceled, yeah, man. Some people did say, yo, man, I'm sorry to hear about your pops, but when we gonna do Fade to Flow again? Or some people just flat out said it, like didn't say nothing about my pops. Yo, man, I'm trying, like literally, bro. I was still in Oklahoma, like I'm still at my parents' house, like when my pops is not upstairs in his chair, and people hit me up, when we reschedule it. You know what I'm saying? One dude, it happened 2 or 3 times, but the third dude, he caught all type of hell, and we might have to fight because I wasn't nice to him. You know what I'm saying?
Got
I
that
wasn't
with
nice.
her, huh?
Yeah, I wasn't nice to him at all. You know what I'm saying?
So,
Like,
so how does it feel now being, proverbially on the other side of it? But how does it feel now that that phone doesn't? I'll say not the phone. That your inbox isn't as full with friends.
it
Since you've
definitely lets me know. It definitely lets me know who my friends are. Like, it definitely let me know who, like even with, like, I'm everybody's OG, right? But I'm not friends with a lot of the niggas who call me OG. And so, but there are rap niggas who I'm buku cool with who actually did call me, who did bang my line, who did text me, more than just a caring heart emoji on your status. You know what I'm saying? It definitely was people who hopped on Zoom with me. My childhood friends, Bradley and Jo. You know what I'm saying? One of the most therapeutic things I did that summer, I came up before the July, and my boy BT, he's a football coach for OSU now, but he was a cop for a little bit. Like the only cop nigga I'm cool with, you know what I mean? And and he took me out to a shooting range. We let that eye loose. I mean, that was the best feeling ever. Like I hadn't shot a gun. I rap about Desert Eagles and Yappers on my song and pumps for Trump or whatever. But I hadn't shot a pistol in, you know, 20 years. You know what I'm saying? So I was a teenager. You know what I mean? And when I was shooting the pistol, there wasn't nothing criminal nefarious. I'm a country boy. We shoot, we shoot guns. Not try to incriminate myself because the feds is watching
Yeah,
on Zoom.
no.
You know what I mean?
Statute of limitation, baby. Where
Yeah,
the
yeah,
two
yeah,
cents?
yeah. But I mean, it was, we was hunting or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Or out in the country, whatever. But so that was real cool, and they checking on me, and what I'm saying, partners who they live far away, they calling me, and people getting on Zoom with me, and it definitely let me know. You know what I'm saying? Who was real, who was fake. Like I can tell you now that I'm in Oklahoma. You know what I'm saying? And I made it very clear. Like, yo, I'm not the plug. I've been hit up a whole lot less. You know what I'm
Been
saying?
getting dried in the motherfucker, huh?
Oh, yes, indeed. And honestly, it's cool because the rap niggas who hit me up, they're calling me for shows. So it really
It
showed. It
clears
really
all that
showed.
mess up.
You know what I'm saying? It really showed like what it was like. And by no means, well, the song before this and the podcast before this, I definitely talked about it a lot. And I'm not really trying to hash that or whatever. But it was time for me to leave Baton Rouge on so many levels. You know what I'm saying? Um, the rap stuff wasn't going nowhere for me in terms of like in Baton Rouge. I was going to have to continue to keep traveling. There wasn't anything I could do differently to get the type of money I deserved that I've earned in the city and get the type of acclaim I've earned in the city as I do when I got to fly thousands of miles away. There was nowhere that was going to happen. Job wise, you know what I'm saying? Doing stuff I love and being underpaid for it. Limited amount of opportunities financially, you know what I'm saying, as it pertains to growth for both me and my wife as educators. Um, Schools is okay. The schools for my children, they would have been straight. They would have been pretty straight. I'm not really necessarily worried about that. But um, and then most importantly, it was time for me to be back close to my mama, back to my family. I never really cared about being close to family before that. I didn't really care that much. I'm like, we got planes, and then my dad would drive anywhere. My dad would have drove to Africa in the van across the waters. You know what I'm saying? He was about catching that slab, and so it didn't really matter. He was gonna come see me and his grandkids. You know what I mean? But like, kind of not knowing that, I was like, yeah, I got to get close to my mom or whatever. But it was just time for me to go, and it's just like I wanted more for myself, and I wanted more for my family, and more importantly, I wanted to be in a place to where. Um, I want to be in a place to where I can go really work and earn my keep, without being expected to do something for somebody, right? So like, and look, if you're from Baton Rouge, you may not feel aware about this. I'll be back in town. You can talk to me if you don't like it when I see you, whatever. Um, I think about that night, Goodbye BR. You know what I'm saying? I think about that night. You was there, and it was love. I was moved to tears 2 or 3 times. It was love. It was a lot of love, right? But a lot of that love was based on what I did for other people, less about the things that I accomplished as an artist.
Yeah, less about you.
You know what I'm saying? Like we're going to miss him because he did so much for us. Because if it's the case of like I didn't see y'all unless it was shows anyways. So if you want to support what I do, you know my band camp. I see you niggas on Facebook or Instagram, and then I see you once a month at the barbershop or whatever. But like, you know what I'm saying? Like y'all don't really come to my shows, y'all don't really buy my stuff like that. So you know what I'm saying? So it was like, so a lot of it was, man, we're gonna miss this person who did so much for the city, and what are we gonna do without him? I understand that, and I get it, you know what I'm saying? But like, a lot of it was and I hate to say this, it sound like this, and maybe I'm wrong, but it seemed like a lot of the love was transaction. Because if you still want to support me, you know what I mean?
In a lot of ways, it was, bro. And
It
not to
was, it
go off on,
was.
you already spoke on it, so I ain't gonna go off on a tangent, but just, from the outside looking in, plus our convos, it is. And the reason why is because a lot of the people that you help couldn't really return the favor anyway, right? At least, I struggle with that sometimes too. Like years ago, early in my career, was like, I would ask people for something and not really offer anything in return. But the reason why was because I felt like what I could offer wasn't worthy enough. You know what I'm saying? If you just put me on my first show and all I got is a free studio session, like what, you know what I mean? So for a lot of people, it may have been, and this isn't, to create an excuse for them, but it's just, looking at it from a different angle. It could be a situation where people just really didn't have anything to offer. Second of all, people don't know the business as much as they think they do. They don't understand that, like, my man put me on a gig. My man put me in front of some folks and introduced me to a guy who got me out of town gig. Let me cop a CD from his website. You know what I mean? People don't understand that. They don't understand how far that goes and how much. And even look, we all use each other for some reason, right? It's about being upfront, being honest, and being real and genuine with your intentions. And I think that's the reason why I asked you that question, because everything you do with pure intentions. That we've had conversations all the time about ways that you could maybe even expand on the internet, social media kind of scale. And you're like, man, I'm not with none of that. I'm just gonna do what I do, and whatever it brings me is what it does. And I could be like, but at the same time, it's like, man, you just kind of gotta respect that, because it's like, a lot of people don't move with that same intensity. They don't move with that same purpose and that same purity. And I think one of the reasons why we link up, and even after our or whatever we had, afterwards, I realized the fault in the error in my ways, and now I move with a different level of purity and intention. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that's probably one of the reasons, one of the many reasons. Those are several reasons why, a lot of the relationships that you had with people were transactional. You know what I'm saying? But to get past that, my third question is, once you get through the end of the skit, you're kind of understanding that someone's not in a great headspace. They need to talk. They need to get some things out. You got into therapy in the skit and in real life. So in what ways has therapy helped you in your life and in your career?
It was absolutely great. First of all, I'm gonna say this: the conversation that you and I had in real life, you know what I'm saying? Like the conversation on the skit was like that range like 7 months. You know what I'm saying? Of things that happened. It didn't really happen that quick.
A synopsis of sorts.
Yeah, it was a synopsis or whatever. But it was you. I remember. I think it was a time. I don't know. It was a couple times. I just kind of, when I told you I was going crazy. I think it was a time to where was it the time when I've never had road rage in my life, but I was heading back to my house, and like I was about to turn on Government Street, and there's like a bike crossing lane. It was kind of dark. It was right before it was getting dark. And dude didn't see me, but I saw him. And I slowed down. You know what I'm saying? I slowed down to let him pass. And like he didn't see me until the last minute. Because he kind of panicked. And so he got off his bike, threw his bike down, and started just talking mad shit. You know what I'm saying? And I got out, I got out the car. He saw how big I was and got on his bike and you know what I'm saying? And Alfred, when I said I was so mad, bro. I was so mad. Like I was crying because I couldn't kill this person. I was so mad. Like my whole body was on fire. You know what I'm saying? I was like, whatever. And I don't know if it was this instance or it was another instance, but I remember telling you basically how like my temper was getting real bad or whatever. And I remember you saying, you was like, bro, you really got to go to therapy because what's gonna happen is you're gonna turn into this person that you don't like forever. Those are the words you said to me. And even then, like I kind of started looking online on the was it Psychology Today or whatever, and I was getting so frustrated going through the process or whatever. And my wife just started calling people. You know what I'm saying? Because I couldn't even do it. I couldn't even like, just the process. You gotta go this way. Just hurry up. I'm just, you know what I'm saying? It was just too much. It was just even that process was so much. And my wife had to get it popping or what have you. You know what I'm saying? But um, so that's that. What was okay? I wanted to stop and say that the reason you was the final push, you was the final push to like really make me go into it or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And I
That's
thank you
actually
for
one
it.
of the, you told me that before, and that makes me really proud because like all of the things we've done together from the shows and the grind, all that shit, that stuff is cool. But at the end of the day, I love you as a human, and I
Right,
love your family, and I only want what's best for you in all aspects, right?
right,
And I still have a lot of work to do on my own, but and this is kind of that like wanting the best for people kind of deal. It's a bit in my character as well, but I just want to make sure like, yo, I've experienced good things with this, and I'm seeing you going through virtually the same thing I went through. Go do this thing, it will
right.
help. And then
Because
what
I saw when I remember when you first started, and I saw the changes. You know what I'm saying? Months later, and I remember when you stopped going. Like I could tell when you stopped going, and I would ask you. Like it was flipped. Because on the others, when I was a mental health counselor and you was going through a situation, I'm like, yo, well, that's when you talk to your therapist. You know what I'm saying? It would be times to be like, yo, these things are you telling me? Are you telling your therapist? And so at this point, you had to check on your strong friends, and little bro had to get big bro straight. You know what I'm saying? And so like that's the reason why like this is so important. You know what I'm saying? Like these type of conversations are important with black men specifically. And then within hip hop specifically us of this hip hop generation, because I always say, man, us as artists, we move off of insecurity and egos, and a lot of times we put this ego up, we project this ego to cover our insecurities. That's what it's all about. You know what I'm saying? And it manifests in different ways. You know what I'm saying? You're straight edge, I'm straight edge, right? So we don't self-medicate with anything synthetic, but sometimes we might engage in other destructive behavior to cope with it. You know what I'm saying? And so this right here, man, it's important that we support each other in these capacities. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody need therapy. Like it ain't got to be trauma. It ain't got to be because nigga we black in America.
there's a lot of trauma with that alone, fam.
Like nigga. At one point, um, slavery was just made partially illegal, not even fully illegal. Enslavement was just made partially illegal. You know what I mean? Because if you do a Joe's, you still a slave by per the Constitution. You know what I mean? But with that said, even on whatever 1865, when this so-called proclamation came out, like it was just a law change. There wasn't no therapy for the enslavers or the enslaved. So we have centuries of trauma from us being kidnapped from our homeland and given, European names and European languages and European remixes of religion that we just need to do. It ain't everybody could be alive and in perfect health, but you still got to go to go work with these white folks and deal with these microaggressions. You know what I'm saying? That can have a effect on your health or whatever, right? So all that to say is just like everybody need therapy. It don't take a nigga to die or have a breakdown. You know what I'm saying? I feel like you asked me a question. I haven't answered it yet.
I'm gonna give it. So the question was, you're the ultimate in the tangent. You're like the tangent master. You know what I'm saying? You're the josing master.
Indeed,
Which I
I
really love
do.
about you. So I'll take that title humbly. In what ways have therapy helped you in your life and in your career?
In my life, there was a point to where me and my wife have been together for 18 years, married for 11, and I was so emotionally raw. I raised my voice at her maybe like 2 or 3 times when I shouldn't have, and that's more than in that time period. That's more than we did the whole time we was together.
For sure.
And I was just so angry. And some of the times, and honestly, I knew it was bad because what I was upset about actually was none of it was like totally illegitimate. It was the way I handled it. You know what I'm saying? Some of it was a legitimate quarrel or something that I needed, but I was just so angry or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Um, so it definitely like, and then honestly, I think she loved my father too, like a father. You know what I'm saying? And so she was grieving in her own way, and I think me going to therapy kind of prompted her to go to therapy. So some days I would be in my room talking to my therapist, and she in the other room talking to her therapist.
That's dope. That's amazing.
You know what I'm saying? And so we was able to, because she got her own situations. You know what I'm saying? Trauma and things with her stuff that she had to unpack too, or whatever, familial and personal things of that nature. And so both of us started going through therapy, and so that helped us connect a whole lot better.
I was gonna say that can only help y'all
Hundred
marriage. Like
percent, hundred
it can
percent.
only
My children, man, my children were taking care of me. And I've said this in other podcasts. Like it was days, bro, where like I had a king size bed, right? At the end of my king size bed was my desk, where I had to teach for 1 hour for the day. And there was days I couldn't even do that. I had to call in for a 1 hour job. I couldn't even do that. I was that bad off. And my babies would have to get up, and my babies on their breaks during virtual learning, they would come get in the bed with me and lay on me. They'd hear me crying. They'd bring me lunch and stuff like that. And so, you know, I definitely, your mother, what I'm saying, your wife, things of that nature, your friends, your family, but you definitely don't ever want to be in a position, unless you like old and see now, to your children got to take care of you.
true indeed.
So for me to be a father and protect them, you know what I'm saying, I had to make sure that I was straight. And then once I started kind of like making some progress, that's when it kind of manifested that my children were struggling with it. I'm confused in terms of processing, what I'm saying, grief, and not even thinking about my children because I'm so caught up in my grief. And so it kind of manifested with my children. And so I had to get them somebody to talk to and get them some help. You know what I'm saying? Um, so it definitely brought me, my wife, and my kids closer. It definitely, if my therapist she wasn't I'm gonna give you a homework assignment thing or whatever. She was just an unbiased person that listened to what I had to say, and it was heavy, 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 heavy. And she was just, shout out to Dr. Shan Russell, Sunflower Counseling. She practices in Louisiana and Texas. I would still be with her if I was in Oklahoma. But big shout out to Sunflower Counseling. It's been other and so this is just it's been other brothers who said they going through it. Like so, I was really happy about this. There's a brother, he's a rapper. You know what I'm saying? He going through it. He's like, bro, I can't do this no more. I know you big on mental health. Can you tell me who your therapist was? I was just like, see, that's why I'm glad I talked about it. The OG talked about it and made it cool. You know what I'm saying? But so it helped me strengthen my bonds with some people. It helped me not feeling bad for cutting some niggas off. It helped me realize who was important. And it was certain things that I've been thinking for years, but I've never said them out loud. That was trauma from before my father passed away. Because when somebody died, everything come up. The time a nigga fought it in your car, didn't say excuse me. Man, this nigga ain't even having the
I
respect to
can
say
remember
excuse
that one time, man. Damn. Yeah.
Man,
It's crazy.
this nigga stepped on my Jordans that one time. He didn't say my bad. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. So everything. And so it helped me kind of sort out what was important. It helped me focus on what I needed to go to. I started therapy in October, for real. And I remember right after my pops died, I wrote and I recorded Angry Black Raps. I was so angry, I was so pissed off, but I wasn't able to write about my pop shit. And so that's the reason why all the over vocal rappers got shot. And that's why all the gun bars and you know what I'm saying? Because I couldn't talk about what I wanted to talk about, right? So it's important that we having this conversation because if I did not go to therapy, then we wouldn't be having this podcast about this album I'm about to drop. Because it allowed me to kind of open up and confront a lot of these feelings and these fears and this trauma and did everything that I've been going through. It allowed me to reflect. It allowed me to kind of be creative again to whatever I could just say like, bro, I lost my daddy, bro. Like next to my immediate family, ain't nothing else worse can happen to me. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't fear nobody. You know what I'm saying? And that makes it really bad if somebody want to beef. This is the time. Please don't diss me now. Please don't because of this.
Nah, you're gonna get a whole nother Marcel.
Come on. Like jobs, bosses, man. Look, y'all better let me come do my job and go home.
Yeah,
I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
but going through therapy helping me work through all this stuff or whatever. Like because what a lot of people don't know is like the album 7, right? Well, EP 7. It's called one of the many reasons why it's called 7 because it took us in two different back. It was like on a Friday and a Saturday. I want to say it took me 7 hours to record all 7 of those songs, right? With everything I love. I recorded this. I think the first session was in January, and the second session was in March. I paid for 7 hours total studio time, and probably between both sessions, an hour and a half of that was me doing features for other people. So for this whole album, it probably only took 5.5 hours. And really, the second time I went, so the first time I went was January. It was January 2021, and the second time I went was March 19th, 2021, which was actually the day after the year anniversary of my pops passing away, right? And the song that I wrote for my pops on my album, I wrote it on the year anniversary. I waited until the year anniversary of his passing to write the song and recorded it the next day. So even that second studio session, probably a good hour and a half of it was re-recording what I had written before, what I recorded before. So if normally I used to go to Fifth Child House and we used to do marathon recording, right? I could have done this. Like if this would have been Fifth Child House before he got married, this album would have been done in one day. You know what I'm saying? But it just poured out of me. It just poured out of me. You know what I'm saying? Because I was already open. I was in therapy, and there's all these things that I felt more comfortable talking about, and just really having an understanding why I was feeling like that, whatever. So artistically, like this album probably ain't gonna sell nothing, bro. I can't tour it. I'm dropping it in between Isaiah Rashad and Kanye and Drake and whatever Kendrick Lamar's coming out and Griselda or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like the way social media works, things of that nature, you got to pretty much pull a stunt, right? I was just thinking one of the reasons why the rollout for Black Messiah was so good was because I wasn't working. I toured at night pay the bills. But after I drop my kids off to school, I'm spending the time at home until I go pick them up at school, promoting the album. I had the elaborate workout, blah blah, the elaborate rollout, and this and the third. I tried to replicate it this time, but I got a job now, right?
By the way, Black, I always wanted to tell you this. And I don't know if I ever actually did, like in personal convo or not, but you inspired me to quit my job because that year that you did that tour with all the shit you was going through, all the stuff you were going through at the time, and the fact that you had the support of your wife and your children, you dig, and you grit and you grinded it out. And it was a hard run, and you did the whole run dolo, right? You even remember there were times I was like, yo, man, I'll come with you. Like, man, let me, but at the time I was like, man, no. I felt like he got to do this on his own. This is him. And after you came back safe and sound, right? You came back with bread, all the circumstances could have been more, whatever, but you came back with bread. It was a successful run. Nobody got stabbed. Nobody, nothing crazy, no car accidents, no craziness, right? You came back, and for a year, you were an artist for a living. And I was like, dog, my man, I tell everybody whenever, not to get off on the 10, I just want to always tell you, but I tell everybody, like, how people are with excuses. The reason why I'm not popping is because niggas hating on me. I was like, well, I mean, this nigga literally was hated on in the city he helped build hip-hop wise. And he's also got a wife and 2 children. So there's really no excuse. So if this nigga can do it, I don't even have kids, right? And I just became single. I know I could do this. You know what I mean? Because you have way more at stake.
Wow, I didn't know that, bro. I didn't know that.
Yeah, literally, like, one of the main reasons why I quit, I was like, dog, Marcel did it. Like, Marcel.
And you know what? It kind of to go back to the question before we finish this up. That's another reason why I don't regret, even though I might do some things differently as far as protecting myself. I don't regret doing like I did because I always knew that I'm trying to put Baton Rouge on or whatever. I'm trying to put Louisiana Armor on or whatever. I realized when Marcel couldn't do it. We need 10 Marcels, or we need 10 Alfreds, we need 10 troops, we need whatever. We need buku people doing something. And the reason why it worked against me in some ways because, like, I always wanted to be accessible and approachable and just show everybody that I'm a regular guy. That if a regular guy can do it, you guys can do it too, right? But, and maybe because I'm a little older or whatever, I'm not impressed by bling and all the other silly shit because I've been in the game long enough to know a lot of that shit is cap, right? I think a lot of young guys saw me as, well, he talking out of their other way. He's still be in the barbershop with sweatpants on. You know what I'm saying? Like I think where it might have worked against me was I was too transparent and I didn't separate myself. You know what I'm saying? It's just like
if people admire something that they can't touch, or they just truly feel like they can't do, right? People appreciate that more for whatever stupid reason.
Right. And I think because people could touch me, because I think if they was like, well, look, if we can still go holler him at the barbershop, or if he'll still answer me when he hit me up on Facebook Messenger, he must not be doing nothing. Meanwhile, you're literally asking me for a favor in Baton Rouge when I'm in New Hampshire. You know what I'm saying? Or you know what I'm saying, while I'm in the middle of a 15-city tour that I booked myself. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. But yeah, so yeah, that's definitely weird. But yeah, man, so as far as like my career, bro, on Black Messiah, I rapped about my physical health. I rapped about being diabetic and making lifestyle changes, which I need to listen to, maybe do a remix to, because I've definitely fallen off the wagon between grieving and pandemic and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying?
Not to laugh at you, but the way you said that was hilarious. But yeah, man.
Oh yeah, nigga, I'm off the wagon. I'm off that, but and I'm starting to get booked again too. So I definitely, because I got mopped. That man Burns mopped me up back in July, and I got to see him again. I got a rematch on September 17th. You know what I mean? At the Whittier bar, if you're watching. And so he can't. I gotta have some respect for myself. He can't mop me up like.
You gotta go ahead and tie that up one
time.
Yeah.
We got something like I gotta go. I can't go out like that twice or whatever. But yeah, but like so, and once I started doing therapy again, I kind of I did start getting back into the gym, even though I wasn't performing. I did start getting back into the gym. I did start like whatever. So like I said, I've addressed the physical health, and now I've addressed the mental health, and I'm gonna continue doing both. Um, um, yeah. I mean, yeah, it was therapy was the best thing that I could have done, and I can't wait to. I just started a new job last week. I can't wait to this insurance pop off before I get my teeth and get what I'm saying, all this other stuff and whatever. The first thing I'm gonna do is find out who I can get this little $15 copay to, so I can tell about my problems for 50 minutes. You know what I'm saying? And also
Okay.
try to get some support. You know what I'm saying? For my wife is gonna do the same. Get somebody for my children to talk to, and hopefully convince my mother as well.
Man, look, I think at the end of the day, I also want to give you a quick just shout out. Looking at the cover art, the heart has a band-aid on it, and I appreciate your attention to detail on that. That's really cool.
Shout out to John
man,
Teller. Shout out to John Teller.
shouts to John, bro.
And the whole White Dirt, man, like White Dirt was like the unofficial artistic directors for this whole project. You know what I'm saying? With Jed shooting the video, you know what I'm saying? And then if you watch the video, the artwork is the things that he painted. He did a graph piece for the video. And I loved it so much, I just asked him to do a digital version of it. You know what I'm saying? So everything that's
Shouts
the
to
E.
John, man. Shouts to
Yeah,
whole White Dirt, because those guys
yeah, I put my stamp behind them 3,000,000%. Like that's some good brothers.
they're good. They're good people, man, and they're about preserving the culture. They're in support of every community you can think of. They're not coming at it from some weird angle. They're pure guys, great
Right,
intention, good energy, a great conversation,
right.
and they're very supportive as well. So they're smart. They move smart, and I'm proud to know them through you, obviously. So, well, those are all the questions I got for you, boy. I want to say, congrats. I'm gonna pre-order the record, and I'm just proud of you. You've been through a lot, and I think that one of the reasons why we vibe is just because we've gone through a lot over the years. We've talked about a lot of the things that we've gone through, and we relate. There may be a 8-year difference, 7 years, 30.
7.5. What you born in 80, 81, 91?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about 7. I was born July 91, September 83. See about 8, about 7.5, almost 8.
So even with the difference, man, I think we just relate in a lot of our trauma, a lot of the ups and downs of this thing. And again, always just proud to just see you do your thing. Always, support if I can, when I can, whatever the case. And I'm very excited for people to hear this record. I'm glad to be a part of it. I'm glad to be a part of some of your more notable releases. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty cool. And to hit the road with you a million times. Sound like we probably about to do a gig.
About to run it back, you feel me?
Come on, man.
I got the okay from my wife, so it's lit. Now
Oh, man,
we gotta get the paper together now. But
Come on, man. You know what time it is.
my wife
Been too
signed up
long.
on it, yeah, bro.
Been
But
too
now,
long,
bro, you are, bro. It's. I mean, when the video come out from Goodbye BR, they saw me crying, talk about you, so I don't need to say. They already know. They already know how much I love you and how much it is, bro. And just this is important, man. That this conversation, this piece of the album, man. This is. We're not rapping on it, but this might be one of the most important songs on the album. It's you know what I'm saying. It's really really important. So a big
For
shout
sure,
out to
man.
Jay Philly because we recorded the conversation on Zoom. You know what I'm saying? And so like I wanted it to sound like a Zoom conversation. Like I didn't want it to sound crystal clear like we in the same place. I wanted it to sound like a Zoom conversation. And the beat he put under it, like the piano stuff and like he added all the dramatic elements to it, bro. It's just like
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So big shout out to Jay Philly for all the work he did on the album. But like this is one of the most important pieces. And I hope like when people listen to the album, my pops didn't die of COVID. He died right before everything shut down. But there's been so many people who lost loved ones. You know what I'm saying? Throughout this process. It's been like so many artists, bro. You know what I'm saying, who lost their parents and you know what I'm saying around this time that we know
Artists who have
both know
died
personally.
because of COVID too.
And artists who died. So like hopefully people who are fans of mine and fans of hip hop or whatever, and people who might have been through it, you know what I'm saying? This interlude, just as the rest of the album, can be like a healing piece for them or whatever. But look, man, we've been on here for almost 50 minutes or maybe over 50 minutes, almost as long as a real therapy session. You know what I mean? So look, if you're watching this, today is September 7th. You know what I'm saying? The album drops a week from today. You know what I'm saying? On MarcelPBlack.bandcamp.com. As I've said on other podcasts, definitely gonna leave it up on Bandcamp for a little bit to let y'all shop before I put it on streamers because streamers don't pay shit. You know what I mean? I need you to come scoop the merch. I need you to buy the CDs. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. So right now you can pre-order the album. MarcelPBlack.bandcamp.com. I got the physical CDs that I actually already have in hand too. So if you're local and you catch me at some shows, you know what I'm saying, before this drops, what have you, or if you just wanted me to pull up on you, I can do that as well. It's drop ship, so as soon as you get it, as soon as you buy it, I send it out the same day. You know what I'm saying? So big shout out to Kunaki. If you don't follow me already, Twitter and Instagram, Marcel P Black, Facebook, MarcelPBlack. And if you just want any other information on what I got going on, go to marcelpblack.com. You know, I got podcasts, I got other type of stuff. And oh yeah, I'm gonna have more merchandise too for the album. I'm gonna have the EI Heart, you know what I'm saying, the mask, because Delta and whatever other Greek letters coming up and acting crazy. So we definitely come out with more masks as we transition into the fall. I'm gonna have crew necks and hoodies, not just t-shirts or whatever. If you want to get some everything I love drip or whatever. Two things. So this is what I want. This is how we're gonna end it. I want you to name 3 things that you love. 3 things, everything I love. Just give me 2 or 3 things that you love, and tell them where they can find you, and we can peace out.
Okay. Well, I'll first say, Alfred Banks. I'm Underdog Central on all social media, underdogcentral.com. I just dropped a new album. One Guy Stand By Himself, go get it, whatever. 3 things I love. 1, a clear head. 2, sneakers. And 3, hip hop.
And there we have it. This is the Everything I Love podcast. Big shout out to Alfred Banks. Allah Mahabe, freedom.